This is the Great Legend, and I'm coming at you live tonight with the Legend's Truth. Man, it's been a long time since I've done some truth around here, but God's been on me for the longest time to get this video out there and to let y'all know his message through the legend. And tonight we've got a great Legend's Truth for you. If you look at the title, Jealousy in an Online World. I mean, hey, raise your hand out there if you've ever, been jealous, about something, or for a friend, or, a loved one or whatnot. And especially in today's world, we are living in that digital world that I also love to talk about and, critique in Legend's Truth. But we're living in that digital world. We're living in that online world. And now, we have our friendships, our family. It's like at our fingertips of what's going on. If you go way back in time and you look at things, you can say, well, back in the day they had the old Pony Express. Some may even had smoke signals. If you lived on a reservation, a great way to communicate, let people know where you were, where you are, what you're doing in life. And then as technology advances, we got the old Morse code stuff, telephones, radio, TV, and then on into the computer age. So we have easy access to everybody and everything now because we are all in that online world. But before we talk about jealousy in an online world, I want to check out the chat here. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Hey, where's my chat at? That's all right. We'll get the chat for you here in a second pulled up so we can see what's going on with everybody out there and things of that nature. I'm so glad you're here. We do have 14 watching right now, so thank you so much for tuning in to watch the Great Legend, talk about the Legend's Truth. So tonight in the chat, I want to give some big shout outs to one of my good brothers here, my first mate, Brian Spaceboy227. Brian, it's great to see you here tonight. We got Comicore is here. Oh my goodness. We got the Unboxing Brothers, old Mike and Steve. It's good to see those guys here, man. Unboxing Brothers. Jason Smith is here, and today was the first day of work. Jason, congratulations, and hope you enjoyed your first day on the job with the USPS. We got Farley's Nerd Cave. What's up, Farley, man? Great to see you, and I love your little jack-o'-lantern emoji there. We got one of my favorites in the comic book community and a great wrestling fan, and he loves his go-go checks. And I'm talking Rod, Dr. Silver Age. Always a pleasure to see you, Doc. I'm so glad you're here. Unboxing Brothers, Mike and Steve. I figured you guys would be watching Raw. And my buddy Comic Core Chad, my brother, he's been watching Raw, and he's been telling me about some pipe bombs going off with Ronda Rousey. Seawater 19, little Jimmy. Oh, great to see you, Wood. Thomas Churchill, my friend. Hope everyone had a great day. Amen to that. I sure did. Bub's Comics. Is it Monday night? Yeah, Bub, I wasn't feeling good earlier. I'm sorry if I missed your show tonight, my friend. Bub does a great show on Monday nights with DS Comics. And I think Metarog's in there too sometimes. Jesse, it's great to see you. Don't worry about it, about missing the auction. We always have plenty of auctions in the comic book community, not only on my channel, but we had an excellent auction last night on All About Comics, Lords of the Long Box, New York Warriors, Spidey Fan, the Pocket Universe guys up in Canada, and I know I'm probably missing out on a lot of them. JoJo's Comics is checking in with Jason, asking him how that job went. And Jason says, JoJo, it was God. And you forgot to capital that G, brother, because you wouldn't have that job without God. I tell you, I myself personally, and I'm not saying this just to get brownie points, but I prayed for Jason. I know Brian prayed for him. We prayed for him a lot to get that job. So thank God he does have that job. And we got my brother Russ, Who Dat Comics and Movies. We got PD Hobbies. He was a part of the auction last night too. So great to see PD. And my brother, the JD again, thank you so much for what you did for me. Every little bit helps. And man, I got AC on again. And I tell you, it's like 40 something in Texas. I don't know what it is, but it's very cold. And I was sick most of the day and last night. So I'm so glad everyone's here tonight. So like I said before, if you're just joining us, man, raise your hand if you've ever been jealous. Like I said, I know I have. I got jealous just a couple of nights ago when C. Woodard used a cruiserweight wrestler to beat Baron Corbin, my freaking heavyweight. And man, I was so shocked, but it was in the cards. It's all a part of fate. It's all a part of that master plan. You know, God didn't want Baron Corbin to win that night, and Corbin didn't win. So I know we all have had bouts with jealousy. It's one of those evil sins that Satan can put into us and work our emotions up and change those feelings inside to envy and to jealousy, and then maybe even on to hatred. I want to tell you a little story real quick before I get into jealousy in an online world. As you know, jealousy has been a part of the world for many, many, many years, you know, all the way back to those BC times, you know, when we had Adam and Eve, you know, when they had their relations after they got booted out of the Garden of Eden. Eve had her firstborn, old Cain. And then she had a secondborn named Abel. And you've heard these stories, Cain and Abel, the two brothers. You know, Cain was a master when it came to tilling the ground and getting fruits and veggies and all that good stuff to grow from the ground. Man, that was his shtick. You know, that's what his dad did, and that's what Cain did. He was the firstborn always inherits what is a part, well, back in those times, inherits, the fortune, the family fortune. And Adam was a farmer, so was Cain. Now you ask, what was Abel? Of course, a lot of you know this story. Abel, he tended to the flock. He tended to the sheep, So if that's, you can easily kind of look at that. Tending to the flock, tending to the sheep, being a shepherd. Of course, we know our shepherd, if any of you are believers, our shepherd's Jesus Christ. And, he tends to us in our time of need like Abel tended to his sheep and the sheep's need, you know what I mean? So one of the best ways to do, when we go to Sunday school or when we go to church on Sundays and the offering plate comes around, we put a little bit of money in the offering. Some of us do 10%, some of us less, some of us a couple bucks, whatever we can give back to our church family, give to God, that's what we give, on Sunday. That's called tithing, so. But back in the old days, they used to do sacrifices. No, I'm not talking about Indiana Jones 2, the Temple of Doom, for some of you pop culture fanatics. But I'm talking what they did was, they would burn their offering. They make a little altar, and they would burn their offering. And when, Cain, burned his offering of fruit and all the stuff that he got from the ground, God wasn't real favorable about that. He didn't really give a big time response to Cain like, man, this was the best freaking haul I've ever had. Some of my comic book folks will know that one. Big haul, I loved it, man. Here you are, Lord. What do you think about it? Pretty much nothing. But whenever Abel put some of his best, some of his biggest, lamb, sheep, stuff like that, put that on the altar, God was very pleased. And God, would give that blessing back to Abel in other ways, maybe give him some more sheep. And Abel was happy. Abel was such, he was on cloud nine, man. He gave this offering to God, and God, was pleased. And real quick, a lot of times in our online world, we do the same thing, where we show people stuff. We let other friends and family know what we've been doing. Maybe, my kid hit a home run on the baseball field, or, we were able to go on a family vacation and it was really cool. And then, we take tons of pictures and smile about it because we're so happy that we're able to do that to give our family something special. Or, in our comic book world, our YouTube world, or Instagram, we show stuff that we may have gotten that's pop culture related, or a cool comic book that's really awesome that no one else has, because we're sharing that love. We're sharing some of our own fruits and labors with the world. Now, with Abel didn't have the internet. Abel wasn't connected online. He had a connection to God, through prayer and through talking. He could talk to God, but he didn't have, fiber, DSL, cable modem, whatever, satellite internet. But he had a way to talk to God, and the way he did, it's not like Abel was gloating to his mom and dad, Adam and Eve, or gloating to Cain that said, hey, man, God gave me some props, but you didn't get no props. Sucks to be you. No. Abel was way more humble than that. Abel had heard the stories. He had heard the mistake that his mom and dad made in the Garden of Eden, and he wanted to please God. He didn't want to, rub it in anyone's face or do any of that kind of stuff. So Abel was happy, but Cain wasn't happy. Cain had a lot of envy for Abel because God didn't talk to Cain the way that God talked to Abel. And Cain led his brother into some field, and while his back was turned, Cain killed his brother. That envy turned to jealousy, turned to violence, turned to death. And so that was a big time sin. That's one of those big ones where it's in the 10 Commandments. You don't want to kill your brother. So God was started to talk to Cain a little bit and said, "Hey, where's your brother at? I don't see your brother anywhere." And the old classic line, Cain says, "Am I my brother's keeper?" And God says, "Well, I can sense the blood coming from the ground that Abel was murdered on." And, Cain, of course, denied it, but God knew it to be true. So God put a curse on Cain. And that curse was that he was going to be sent out, become a wanderer, and he wouldn't have those skills anymore to be a great farmer. Anytime he planted something, it wouldn't grow at all. So Cain went on, and Cain was whining and crying. He says, "Well, what if someone finds out that I was the first murderer? What if someone kills me?" And God put a mark on Cain, saying, if anyone murders you or anything like that, that person will be cursed 7 times fold. That dude will be punished 7 times fold. So I don't know what that punishment was, but we do know Cain went on and had a son himself with his wife named Enoch. And Cain became a builder of cities, and he built Enoch, and then the story goes on from there. But all of that could have been avoided if Cain would have just not been jealous of his brother. And like I said, throughout time, sin is always going to be there. It's just going to keep happening over and over and over again. And there's a couple of different ways you can deal with sin. We know now the new law, not the old law, the Old Testament. Now, I'm sure you don't want to go around killing people and stealing stuff and, disobeying your mom and dad all the time. The new law says, if you believe in Jesus Christ, that he died on the cross for your sins, all will be forgiven, because that blood of Jesus has forgiven us that believeth in him. So, but like I said, that don't mean you need to go get jealous of someone, because they have better comic books than you, and then go kill them and then pray, "God, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me." He will forgive you. But sometimes, in Texas at least, death row won't forgive you. So that's definitely something you don't want to do. We got some good stuff in the chat right now. Some folks are sharing their stories of jealousy about football games. Sam's Tangled Web, great to see you here. I'm glad to see Sam. He had a great live show over the weekend. But we have Alfred83 is here. Great to see you, Alfred. Thanks for coming by. So we got a lot of folks in the chat. Is that Amazing Murfinator? There he is. I know Murfinator may have got jealous because his Red Sox got beat by the Yankees a while back. He was upset about it. Now, was he jealous of the New York Warriors? I don't know. I doubt it. He was probably upset with his team, but he was probably happy for his New York Warrior brothers because they got to celebrate that New York Yankees victory. Creature, it's so good to see you. Jesse, Cain's brother is the Undertaker. Oh, my goodness. Wasn't Enoch the father of Noah? I know. Jason, you just got to start reading and believing. Jealousy is no, Jason is a believer. I'm sorry. Jealousy is a terrible thing, and it's caused so many issues. And, it has caused many issues. Like I said, let me go into the online world that we have. So everyone remembers when MySpace came out. Y'all remember that old website, MySpace? Let's not talk about MySpace. It was pretty crummy. But Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. I'm not really big onto Twitter, but even in Twitter, and things like YouTube. For an online world, we have a lot more folks that are paying attention to us. They're watching everything we say and do. And, they know a lot more stuff, especially the hackers, when they hack in. A lot of us will put our Facebooks and Instagrams and things like that on private. So we don't run into a lot of problems and things like that nature. But sometimes, we do leave our stuff public. If we make YouTube videos, we want everyone to see our stuff, we have, what's another one? Twitter. We want everyone to read our tweets and everything like that. Some of us out there want to have as many followers or as many likes or as many views or as many subscribers or whatever you call whatever social platform. Everyone wants more and more and more. And today's society, we wanted that stuff yesterday. So it's very hard to wait, when we want things now. For instance, say you're on Facebook and you always see the same guy or girl posting a lot of things on Facebook, like just selfies or vacations or something they've got, or they'll take a picture at the beach and they're typing in, "Oh, this is just paradise here. Look at me. I've got all this going on for me." And then a lot of their friends, were really nice. They'll hit the thumbs up, they'll like, they'll comment, and they'll say, "Hey, man, I'm so glad that you're having a great time out there, man. That's the way to do it. Enjoy life to its fullest and have a lot of fun." But in the shadows, there lurks the people that may become envious, the people that may be jealous, and they don't like what they see, on Facebook. And sometimes, they'll get so mad they'll hide that person on Facebook to where they don't have to see him again. For me, I am tempted by Satan all the time. You go to my Facebook page, of course, I can see it. I can see what's on my news feed, and I've got a lot of friends in the comic book community, and it's wild because they'll always post like some of their new comic books they've gotten, or maybe some autographs or some famous people they meet, sharing some of their favorite videos out there. And what's insane about it is the Facebook algorithms, that's the stuff they show you first. A lot of times I don't get to see what, my cousin Nancy is saying or, other family members are saying on Facebook. And how many times have you seen Facebook posts that are just text? You don't see a lot of that anymore. A lot of times, because people want everyone they can, that people want to reach so many other people, so many followers, so many friends and family, that they'll put a picture up or a movie trailer or even their political views they'll put up on Facebook to garner a reaction. And will the reaction be positive or the reaction be negative? And for the most time, if it's anything to do with politics, usually it's 50-50. That's a whole nother can of worms. So that jealousy is there, and it's prevalent on Facebook. It's also prevalent on Twitter. How many times do you hear friends say, "Oh, I got this guy to retweet this so many times," or "These people are using my hashtag," and sometimes is the information the person's putting out on Twitter, is it really important information? Is it really a message you want to convey? Is it something that is really that important in the world? Does it really matter if you're Republican or Democrat? Does it really matter if one person thinks this book is going to be like the hottest book since peanut butter and jelly? How do you get your points or get your message across in an online world? A lot of people use it for their family and friends, but some people do use it for fame and fortune. So For me, I use YouTube to get my message across. But before I talk about that, I'm going to check the chat a little bit more. And don't be jealous, Who Dat says. If you work hard at stuff, you can get the things you want. And we will talk about that. Who Dat pretty much hit it nail on the freaking coffin there. You know, you got to work hard. It may be a long journey, and you may want it faster, you know. You've got, takes all this long time to plant plants in the ground and things like that, and you've been working so hard at it. And then you got this other guy that just throws a lamb or a sheep on the fire, and then he gets more props, than you. And it really is frustrating. But is it frustrating enough to, like, be envious, jealous, to hate, to be violent, and to even kill? I don't think it is. That's right. A lot of people are preaching it. Don't be jealous. JLS says from Othello, this is Shakespeare. Y'all know the old school. Beware, my lord, of jealousy. It is the green-eyed monster which doth mock the meat it feeds on. And jealousy, for people that may be negative or unhappy in life due to some of their own things that are going on in their life, jealousy could be that fuel to keep that fire alive. And it's not like a burning fire or desire for good things, but for the negative things. And it kind of keeps on going and going and going. Who Dat says, I like peanut butter and jelly. Oh, gosh. I'll get a T-bone well done at Ruth Chris, Jason says. And, Jason, say you're in that restaurant and you take a picture of the meat. Well, some people may be salivating, on Facebook. Will they be jealous? Probably not. I'm going to be happy for Jason because I know in my heart of hearts, Jason probably haven't had a good cut of steak in a really long time. All right. So, YouTube. I've been a member of YouTube since 2009. And in my younger years on YouTube, I didn't get a lot of subscribers or get a lot of views or anything like that from showing comic books. Truth be told, once I really got big into the comic book community, my subscribers, my views, my AdSense, all that kind of stuff started, it was up here and it started going down to here. Now, is that because other people were showing better books than me or maybe giving better comic knowledge than me? That very well could be true. I'm not the smartest person out there when it comes to knowledge on comic books. Comic books are my hobby. I love to collect comic books. I love to read them. I love to enjoy the art. But I may not know the most about particular authors or artists or things like that. There's plenty other better channels out there in our YouTube comic book community than the Great Legend Show. But then you ask, well, why does the Great Legend Show have all these subscribers? Well, when I first got started in YouTube, I was primarily a gaming channel and just an entertainment kind of channel. I love doing gaming. I was very addicted to video games early on. I was really good at them. Not so much anymore. Games change as well as my thumbs are getting a little older, if you will. And another thing I used to do was a show called The Great Chef Show, which was very successful. A lot of those, pretty much all of those recipes, all those little vignettes and shows, they thousands of views. In YouTube, I was the very first person to ever have a video about klobasniks, which a lot of us Americans know as pigs in a blanket. But instead of using biscuit dough, it's bread dough, like the Czechoslovakian folks. I was the first one to ever have one of those out on YouTube. So it garnered a lot of attention and a lot of views. But when I got into the YouTube comic book community, I already had about 2,000 subscribers. Now, having that many subscribers, I was getting invited to do a lot of shows and things like that. And I would do them. I didn't know any better. But in reality, I can look back and say, maybe these people were just using me because I had a lot of subscribers at the time. Maybe not because, they liked my beanie or they liked my voice. But you know, that could have been, that could have been a thing. Maybe they got me on there for that. But growing in through the YouTube comic book community, I have had a lot of fun. But yes, even the great legend has had a lot of jealousy. And jealousy can come in a lot of different ways. At one point, I had people that were buying a lot of thumbs down and thumbing down my videos. And I'm not going to lie to you, I was really hurt by that. I was upset by that. Even though I would talk to YouTube and YouTube says, well, we don't see anything wrong on our end. I'm like, really? I have more thumbs down on a video than I do actual views. You tell me, right? But, of course, YouTube is mainly just a digital algorithmic computer that talks to you and emails you back. It's really hard to get real people on YouTube. But over time, especially after November 2016 when the veil was lifted, I, kind of learned to look at things in a different light, and I could see more things that I ever could than I have before about people, about the world around us, about this digital reality that we live in. My eyes were just opened in many very different ways that many cannot see, and many will never be able to see. Now, does that make me better than anyone else? No, it doesn't. But what it does make me is it gives me the opportunity to let my voice, to let my message, to let God's message come through in these videos that I call Legends Truth. So that's why ever since then, it really opened my eyes up to, instead of to, show a lot of stuff, show a lot of trips, even though I do love to show comic books, I love to play video games. But the most important thing for me is with my subscribers, the people that watch my videos, is not for people to watch me because of a comic book. Not because of, like, I'm good at a video game or I have some really cool Funko Pops. But it's to watch me, to watch me. This guy right here, this face, this voice. And no matter what I do in my videos, I'm trying to give you a message. Sometimes the message may not be as good as you like it. Sometimes it's a message of a wrestler like Baron Corbin getting beat by Drew Gulak. But the message is there. And at the end, do I get mad that Seawater 19 just kicked my butt with Drew Gulak? No. Me and him both, we just laugh our butts off because we beat the crap out of each other in the wrestling ring. And it was a lot of fun. And it was that fellowship that brought us together, that friendship that keeps us binded together. And that's one thing I like about our Comic Core that we have in the YouTube comic book community, because it's free from all of that stuff. It's free from jealousy. It's free from hate. It's free from all of that, and it's a place where we can all come together and be united with the same passion. Now, do I wish everyone was united together because we all love Jesus Christ? Boy, I wish I could. I wish it was like that. If it was like that, we would have a lot less fighting going on and things of that nature. But sadly, though, it's not like that. So let me move on a little bit. Another thing is, say you're in the comic book community. I'm using the YouTube comic book community because that's the community I've been a part of the longest, even though I got my start in gamings and I did cooking, go figure. I'm just amazed. I do love to cook. But anyway, I'm going to go over some things that I've seen in the comic book community that has some jealousy in them. I'm not calling any names out because, a lot of these things, jealousy has happened for years in the online world, so it's nothing new, but it's things that have been more prevalent in our comic book community. And it's very interesting to kind of sit back. I was talking to Chad about this one night, and from Comic Core, and it's very interesting to see what other people value more. Do they value an imaginary number, like subscribers or views or likes or dislikes? Do they value that more, or do they value the message they're trying to get across to everyone that's watching our videos? That message, that thing that you want to give to everyone that watches your YouTube channel. And I've talked about this before on how to be a successful YouTube channel. Now, I'm by no means the model of a successful YouTube channel, but it's just some things that I try to go by to make my YouTube experience and my online experience memorable and fun and loving, and to bring everyone into it. So a lot of times with some of us, we may get jealous of someone that has more subscribers. Say this was a true story. Dut Rank, if you're watching, I'm going to pick on you. And I know I didn't say I was going to use any names, but you're my best friend. One of my best friends. Dut Rank got me into YouTube. We were gamers. And man, Dut Rank is way more entertaining than I am. Oh man, some of the skits he used to do. I just watched him and watched him and watched him. Some of my favorite stuff I ever watched on YouTube, and this was when he was really young, and now he's getting up there. But we weren't in any competition by any means. But when I played Gears of War 2, GTA 4, Red Dead Redemption, had a lot of good guides and strategies, Skylanders and all that kind of fun stuff, Disney Infinity. I got more subscribers than Dut Rank had. And Dut Rank had been doing it maybe, I think, 2 years longer than me. And before I know it, all of a sudden, Dut Rank jumped from, I don't know what it was. This is imaginary, but it was some crazy number. He had 500 subscribers, and in one day, he had 1,000. So I did some research. And, he ended up telling me he bought the subs anyway, because the funny thing was, I didn't do the research until after he had told me what happened. So he got up to 1,000 subs. 6 months later, YouTube did something called a purge, where they purge out all the inactive accounts. Any YouTube account, they purge the inactive ones. Now, they would still say, when that inactive account logged back in, then yeah, the sub would come back. He would get the sub back. But they never did log back in. And then so Dut Rank said, yeah, those were some fake subscribers. And it's like, fake subscribers? Now, this was years ago before I got into the comic book community. And before I really knew anything about subscriber, what's the big deal? Why do you want a lot of subscribers or whatever? Well, back then it was cool because if you got 1,000 subscribers, you got a YouTube partnership. So that was kind of cool, and you were able to monetize your videos. I hit that mark really quick because, video games were all the rage, and they still are, but only if you play Fortnite. But anyway, so that happened, and, he told me he was never going to do that again because, for one, it cost a lot of money back then to buy the subscribers because that technology was pretty early on. And then recently in YouTube comic book community, I have seen people get, more subs, and did they buy subs? I don't really know, And from me, with all the thumbs down and all that bad stuff that happened to me, I really didn't care anymore about the numbers game, especially since November 2016. I didn't really care about the numbers game anymore. People would send me messages, they'd be like, Rob, did you see this guy? This guy's got this many subs. And I was like, what did they used to have? Because I really haven't been paying attention. You know what I mean? And that's not because I'm high and mighty with my sub count. My sub count's really low compared to the big thing, big scheme of things. And then another person would see that person get a lot of subs, and then they would buy subs and stuff like that. Now, were they buying subs because they wanted to have a lot of numbers or more numbers than the next guy? Or did they want to buy subs to unlock the super chat? See, you have to have 1,000 subscribers to get super chat, right? So I don't know why people do it, and it's not my problem anymore. I don't really care anymore about any of that kind of stuff. So people would send me these messages about this guy's doing this. This guy's doing that. Well, could it be the same people that sent me the message? Could they be the jealous ones about it because that person has more subs than them? I don't know. I mean, there's so many questions, and it's really not my say to answer those questions. You know what I mean? And it's not my say to really dwell on those questions. How about this? We have a YouTuber that just comes onto the scene, and he blows up. He or she blows up in subscribers, and so many new subscribers, so many views. But other folks that have been around here for longer, they say, well, how's this person getting all these subscribers? So folks may start chatting behind the scenes, a little backstage politics, kind of like wrestling. How are these people getting all these? Are they buying subs? Are they buying views? Are they buying something? Well, thing of it is, if they are, that's their money, I guess, So you never know. Have I met people in YouTube that have come onto the YouTube scene and they've rose way past the great legend, way past what I could ever be here on YouTube? I have met some of those people. And let me tell you, for the most part, they're really good people. And they're great people in a sense that what's really awesome, and I hope this continues because I've really got some great friendships out there that I've met from folks. They'll send me one-on-one messages, ask me how I'm doing, They check on me, and a lot of you in the chat right now, I'm looking at, y'all have all talked to me. I've chatted with so many good people this week. I chatted with a guy last night, and he knows exactly who he is. And he's a great guy, and he's, a Christian brother that I can look up to. You know who you are because I chatted with you last night. I really appreciate you being here. And there's another guy. Look, we got a lot of folks in the chat. We got Count Von Strange, Poor Man's Comics, Mr. D is here, Comics with Bueller. I love you, Murph. I know you're still here. Cat Wren Figures is one of the best. Trinity Entertainment. What's up, Trinity? And JLS, that's another one. People should focus on themselves and making themselves and their own channels better instead of what everyone else is doing. That's what I'm talking about right there. But I'm not mad at the people that are jealous. I'm going to get there in a minute. So, like I said, these channels, they're coming around all over the place, and they're making some phenomenal content. And here's the cool thing about one guy. And it sucks not being able to say the names, but I don't want to say their names because I shouldn't have to. I really, truly enjoy these people so much. They are brothers and sisters, and they know this already. And you know what? They know it, but they're humble about it. You know what I mean? They're not trying to throw it out there. They're not trying to become famous or anything like that. And I'll talk a little bit about that of my own self, because I really did. I was really addicted to the fame, starting out. And I always tell you around November, before the November 2016 when the veil was unlifted to me. Even before then, I kind of was phasing out of comic book community stuff because I was playing more video games. And I was having a lot of fun doing it because I didn't really like at the time what I was seeing in the comic book community. Not because I was jealous, but just because I didn't really like the content. That's no disrespect to anybody, but my favorite content is the content where I get to hear stories or history of a person's life. That's why I'm so addicted to watching wrestling shoot videos, because I'm a huge pro wrestling fan, and I really love to watch some of these old-time wrestlers talk about the real-life happenings behind the scenes of wrestling. So I really like those kind of videos more. So I didn't, but now I'm kind of back in the comic book community. I'm part of one of the awesome shows on Friday Night Comic Core, and I love watching live shows and live ensemble shows, but I also like watching solo shows as well, or solos that are offline. And I do try to make it my point to watch different people's videos and comment on those videos. And I'm not just mean like going there and putting a generic comment down, but really watching their videos and leaving them a comment that not only means something to them, not only do you make someone's day when you leave a comment, but it makes my day too, because it makes me feel like I'm giving them something. And even though I'm only giving them, 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever they have of their video, I'm giving them my time to watch their video, because I care about what they say, and I care about what they're doing, and I care about what they're showing on their channel. And especially the people that show the positive, that show the light, I'll watch more of those videos than I do other videos of maybe a more negative, or where someone's ripping down the wall, or tearing stuff down or whatnot. So that's a little bit of kind of my story on it. But back to the popular channels. I mean, there's always going to be someone new that comes along, and they're going to be hot because it's like a brand new movie. Everyone wants to go see the newest movies, right? Well, as long as they're not DC movies. Sorry, I just had to throw that in there. But the Shazam movie, everyone's going to watch it. I mean, it's going to be great. And what's really cool about comic books and the way they relate to movies, I don't pay a lot of attention to movie news or comic book news, but what I do pay attention is to each and every one of you and what you're showing on your channel. So if someone shows a Shazam #1, or a Donny Cates book, or a new Cullen Bunn book, because I really like Cullen Bunn stories, or a new Matina cover, or Jock cover, or Art Germ cover, or some of these, or maybe even someone shows like a Silver Age or Golden Age Holy Grail, or even a Bronze Age Holy Grail, or a Modern Grail. This is something I really want to see. And what it lets me do, it lets me know, because I don't do a lot of research about comic books. That's why my channel, it's not just comic books. It's a little bit of everything. But most importantly, it's called The Great Legend Show for a reason, because the Great Legend is on the show, right? But instead of going to all of these websites and reading about news, I can easily just get on Facebook, and the news is already there from a source that's one of my friends or someone that I've met in the online world. And I kind of like that better, because it's not like I know these people. I don't some of them I've never met in real life, but I know them in the online realm. You know what I mean? So it's kind of more important than me reading it from some website like Bleeding Cool or Comic Book Resources or IGN or things of that. I can't tell you how many times Chad will send me some news about some wrestling stuff. Some of it I'd heard, because I really like looking up wrestling stuff, and some I haven't heard. And then we'll just kind of sit and chat about it. I mean, it's so much fun because he's my friend, and we're talking about something that we're both passionate about. Now, we do a show with Bueller and C. Woodard called WWE PPV Reviews, and we're going to have one of those tomorrow night. Cheap, shameless plug. After SmackDown 1000, we're going to talk about what we thought about the SmackDown show. But that's one of those, I love that show because we don't really show our faces. We don't really show any materialistic possessions or any like champion belts or anything like that. We just talk to talk like we're on the phone, but we broadcast that live so everyone could get in on the conversation. So that's a lot of fun. So some people, will be jealous and they'll buy subscribers. And I'm sorry if I'm rambling on. Some people will be jealous. They may buy subscribers or buy views or buy likes, or they can pretty much buy anything. Me, I usually just spend my monthly money. When I'm not doing ACs and electrician stuff, I'll buy a little bit of comic books. I don't spend as much as I used to. I spent a little last night because I have some OCD, and I love Fantastic Four, Marvel 2-in-1, Shazam. I love like different variants of those, so I did spend a little extra last night when I ordered my comics. But for people that are doing, they want to get Super Chat, right? Let's use Super Chat, for instance. So you have maybe 100 subs, and you buy 900 subs, and you're finally able to get Super Chat. But if you think about it, you have an imaginary number, because those 900 people that you bought, those fake accounts, they don't exist. Will you get Super Chat? Sure. But you also have to have the, 4,000 hours watch time or whatever it is. So you may or may not even get it even after that. But you have an imaginary number. And you do a video. Say I'm doing a video like this. I'm delivering a message that God's put on my heart to tell you about jealousy. And say I only had the 100 plus the fake 900. Well, the important thing for me personally, and this is me because we're all different. We all see things differently. God didn't use cookie cutters to create us, but we see it different. So for me, the most important thing is getting the message across to the 100 people that are subscribed to me, the 100 people that are real life people. If you want donations, and I'm all for donations because they help buy my comic books and improve my show, I have a link in the video description below from streamlabs.com. And this was the last guy that donated on streamlabs.com. And he donated $1. Over here, my brother JD, he donated $5 to the AC fund because I was having air conditioning problems. He donated that through Super Chat. But the way YouTube and Google does things, you have to make about $100 before they'll send you the check for the money. So that's kind of how that works out. Once you get the $100, you get the money back. So that's if you are all in it for the fame, if you're all in it for the money. But the most important thing for me personally is not about the fame or the donations or any of that kind of stuff. Am I thankful that sometimes I get donations? Well, yeah, who's not? Because you can take those donations and you can improve your channel, make it better, maybe buy some new software, put the money together to buy a green screen, maybe a new camera, maybe some video game capture software or something. And you can use that for that. But what I've learned and what God's taught me through researching things and looking at things and prayer is you want to talk to the audience that is out there. They're real people. You don't want to worry about imaginary numbers. God doesn't worry about imaginary numbers. And, he damn well didn't send Jesus Christ to die on the cross for fake people, fake subscribers, computer algorithms and programming that don't exist. He sent his son to die on the cross for the 100 real people. You know what I'm saying? This is an example. Of course, he's every live person on the planet. All they got to do is accept that awesome act of kindness from God, and then they're going to have Jesus in their life, and they have that one-on-one connection where they can talk to Jesus at any time, and he'll be there for you. It's kind of like, with Satan and the way, and I've talked about this in the Devil's Digital Playground, with Satan, he's trying to get to us from all sides. He will throw up some stuff on Facebook. He will make you unhappy if you see some stuff. He's going to use the envy and the jealousy that you have deep down in your heart. He's going to use that kind of stuff to garner hatred toward others, to garner jealousy toward others. But what we have to remember is it's not about all that stuff. It's about the relationship that we form with Jesus Christ, through God's gift, and how we get that message of truth across to those real life subscribers, not the fake ones, but the real ones. And some of you out there, we may not have the same religious beliefs. And some of us may just want to show comic books. And that's what it's all about, because when we show comics, when we show games, that's our form of escapism. But I also like mixing in Legends Truth because I want to give you, I want to share with you reality, And the reality is we're in the end times. And the reality is Jesus will be coming back soon. And he's going to be taking us a lot of us off the planet for 7 years, and I want to make sure if my message can help any one of you, that's what I'm going to do on here, and even though like some of these higher channels are showing comic books and they've got more subs than you or something like that, there's no reason to ridicule or judge or pick on others or things of that nature. But the best thing you can do is be happy for those people, those new people that are coming into the community, because a lot of them are here to have fun and they're here to share their message. Well, what is their message? Is their message about Jesus, God? Is their message about Funko Pops? Is their message about cooking? Is the message about Drew Gulak beating Baron Corbin? Is their message about, comic books or cooking or whatever your message is? Do your message and work really hard. Now, how do we deal with jealousy? Well, there's the common things you hear on mass media. Let me tell you. You can unfollow the person you're jealous of. You can take a break. Take a break from online, stuff like that. Take a break. There's another one. You could limit your time online. So you unsub them, take a break, limit your time online. But like Jesus was tempted for 40 days, 40 nights, devil will tempt you again to come back online. And a lot of times he's going to put those little seeds inside your body to do the same thing you did before you left. And that could be envious, be jealous, be upset, just be upset about a lot of stuff. So the thing about it is the real things that you can do is, before you let it get to you, before you let Satan's actions try to rule you or tell you what to do, especially for us Christians, because Satan already has everyone else, but for us Christians, he's always trying to put that doubt in our mind, that doubt that we're not good enough. We're not as good as that guy and gal that's way up here, We don't get the views. We don't get the subs like those other people. So Satan's saying, you're not good enough, So why don't you just take these people out? You know what I mean? But if we listen to our hearts, listen to our soul, and, being filled with the Holy Spirit, instead of letting us listen to Satan and what Satan tries to tell us to do, and believe me, man, Satan's always talking to me and trying to get me to do some stupid stuff because he's an asshole. But instead of that, listening to one, listen to the message God has given you. Be aware of the jealousy so you can put a stop to it before it starts. And when I say put a stop to it, pray about it. Pray to God about it, and he'll be there. He's going to answer your prayers, Once you prayed to let Jesus in your heart, he was there for you, And now you got Jesus in your heart and you have the Holy Spirit running through you. And that is your lifeline to God. That's like your firewall that you have connected, your soul has up to God. That's your firewall. And Satan and everyone around you that's trying to knock you down, they can't get inside you because you've got your firewall of Jesus. So what I want you to do, what God wants you to do, is be aware of your jealousy. Recognize your worth. You know what? So this guy has all the subs, all the views and stuff. But you know what? There's something different about you. I've said this earlier in the show. God didn't create no cookie cutters. So you use what you have. And you thank God what you have. And you use it to the best of your ability to touch someone else's life. Touch the freaking 400, 500. Touch the real life subscribers. Touch those people. Don't worry about the fake, imaginary, fictional numbers because that doesn't matter. Those aren't real people. That's algorithms. That probably could even be related to the beast system, which is going to be in the future. And most importantly, when I see my peers, when I see the other YouTube channels that I admire, I wish I can give them names, but I think they know who they are. I want y'all to know that I'm so happy and I'm so proud that I have you in my life. I'm so happy, I'm so proud that I have Jason Smith. I have Trinity Entertainment. I got Mr. D. I got Cat Rant. I got Poor Man's Comics. I got Mike, Four-Way Flashers. Who Dat? Area 51. Comics with Bueller. Chad from Comic Core. Who Dat Comics. Big Bear. JLS. Edwin. God love you, Edwin. All these people, man. And I know I'm leaving names out, but you know who you are because you can message me anytime and I'm going to give you a response. I'll give you a reply. Old LP out there. I love you, LP. But really be happy for others and their success, because what it's going to do for you, it's going to make you feel better inside. And, you know, it's just way better feeling happy for someone than feeling envious or jealous or hate towards someone. And the cool thing about this is when you look at these big time channels that are way more subscribers than me or you or whatnot, and you think about it, if you continue to put your faith in your own message and you continue to put your faith in God and you put your faith in what you're doing, you're going to be blessed 10 times, tenfold, man. And that blessing really may not come in subscribers or views or online stuff or comic books. How many times has anyone prayed for Action Comics #1, 1938? That was kind of a joke, you know. As kids, we always pray, I hope I get the Castle Grayskull for Christmas, you know. But as we grow in our adult life, as we grow in our spiritual life, we know that it's not about that, but it's about those gifts that we may not be able to see, but it's the gifts that God gives us in the form of other things, you know, whether it be a loving family, you know, or, you know, your friends, things like that, not so much materialistic possessions. So just remember, just try not to be jealous of others. If you ever do feel some jealousy, you know, try to be aware of the jealousy you have. Recognize your worth, because there's things you do that no one else can do. You know, you've got knowledge about stuff that no one else has. You know, I've got some knowledge about, you know, some of the crazy, super sci-fi, weird things that Satan does to control people through social media and through the internet and CERN and quantum reality, and the list goes on, because Satan's pulling its strings, man. It's one of those things where he knows that his time's running out, and God's giving him a little bit of that leeway to say, just to let him know, yeah, you think you're winning, but you're really not, you know. And that's the thing. When you are jealous of someone else and you buy some subscribers or buy some views or buy some likes, or, you know, spam Facebook with stuff. So I'm sure Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram probably have the same thing where you can buy virtual likes or virtual recognition. Remember that, you know, all of that stuff can go away in an instant, you know. And when that goes away, will you have what will you have accomplished? Could you have taken that time to, instead of, you know, try to manipulate the system to make yourself look more famous, give yourself more fame, give yourself more notoriety, publicity, popularity, or will you use that time to change someone else's life? And I'm going to let you know, I'm in the latter category. You know, my message, whether it be showing some Fantastic Four complete collection or some Wiz comics, or if I ever do get back into cooking, or if I ever do win another match against Seawater 19, I'm going to use my message to impact others. And I want to tell the message that God tells me before every time I do one of these videos, Legends Truth, I pray to God about this every time before I do one of these. And the message is to, make you feel better about yourself, recognize your worth, and let you know that you are somebody. And I think that's just a beautiful thing. Well, fans, I just want to let you know I really appreciate each and every one of you coming out to watch Legends Truth tonight. This has been a long time in the making. And this video isn't to, degrade other people or, talk trash about anyone. It's things that have happened in my own life, that I want, I've been jealous for many years on YouTube. And I don't want you to fall in the same steps that I have, because it'll make you depressed. It'll make you feel in ways that you shouldn't feel, because God has ways that He wants you to shine to others. And I want you to shine to others too. Fans, friends, family, each and every one of you, I love you all. This has been Jealousy in an Online World from the Legends Truth. I'm your host, the Great Legend, saying peace out. God bless.